Mr. Speaker, I now report on the macroeconomic performance for the first half of 2019. The following macroeconomic targets were set for 2019. Overall real GDP growth of 7.6%, non-oil real GDP growth rate of 6.2%, end period inflation of 8%, overall fiscal deficit of 4.2% of GDP, primary surplus of 1.2% of GDP, and gross international reserve to cover at least 3.5 months of imports. Mr. Speaker, provisional estimates released by the Ghana Statistical Services in April 2019 show that overall real GDP growth recorded a growth rate of 6.7% in the first quarter 2019 compared to 5.4% over the same period in 2018. Growth in the non-oil sector was 6% compared to 4.2% in the corresponding period of 2018. The industry sector recorded a growth rate of 8.4% in the first quarter of 2019 compared to 10.4% during the same period in 2018. Growth in the services sector rebounded strongly to 7.2% in the first quarter of 2019 compared to 1.4% recorded during the same period of 2018, while the agri sector reduced the lowest growth of 2.2% first quarter 2019 compared to 4.7% during the same period in 2018. Mr. Speaker, in spite of the progress made to contain inflationary pressures over the past 24 months, headline inflation rose gradually from 9% in January to 9.5% in April, reflecting pass-through effects of the currency depreciation during the period. Inflation, however, declined gradually to 9.4% in May and further to 9.1% in June 2019. In line with the disinflation process, the Bank of Ghana policy rate was further reduced by 100 basis points to 16% in January 2019 and has since remained unchanged. Over the first half, the 91-day Treasury bill rate rose to 14.8% in June 2019 from 14.6% in December 2018. Similarly, the rate on the 182-day bills also increased to 15.2% from 15% for the comparative period. Mr. Speaker, total expenditures, including arrears clearance, amounted to 34.2 billion for the period compared to the program target of 36.8 billion. Mr. Speaker, key expenditures were well contained during the period, with the exception of expenses on the use of goods and services, which was 30.1% higher than target, mainly on account of security-related expenses to reinforce our borders. So far, expenses on the free SHS program and some other government flagship programs have remained on track. Mr. Speaker, government's fiscal operations resulted in a cash deficit of 3.3% of GDP compared with a program target of 2.9% of GDP for the half year. Mr. Speaker, a significant portion of the deficit was financed from foreign sources, 81.3%, including proceeds from the 2019 Eurobond issuance, which raised a total of 3 billion in 7-year, 12-year, and 31-year Eurobonds of 750 million, 1.25 billion, and 1 billion respectively. Domestic financing of the deficit, including market operation, constituted a remaining 18.7%. The primary balance recorded a deficit equivalent to 0.8% of GDP against a deficit target of 0.1% of GDP for the period.